Spartan women were pioneers in an era when most women around the world, especially in ancient Greece, were confined to domestic and private roles. In Sparta, on the other hand, they were at the center of public life, playing an essential role in maintaining the power and stability of the city-state. The rigorous training and education focused on physical strength were not exclusive to men. Women also underwent severe training that prepared them for the challenges of a society that valued discipline, resilience, and commitment to the collective good. Spartan society was structured around military dominance, with an emphasis on discipline, strength, and collective effort. This society was exceptional in its treatment of women, granting them rights and responsibilities that were uncommon in other Greek city-states. Women in Sparta had a level of independence that would be unimaginable in many other places of the ancient world. They were not only free from the patriarchal restrictions faced by women in places like Athens, but were also expected to contribute to the welfare and success of the state in ways that were active, public, and influential. From childhood, Spartan girls were subjected to an educational and physical process designed to make them independent, strong, and responsible for building a militaristic and warrior society. Unlike women in other Greek cities who were educated to be good wives and submissive mothers, Spartan women were encouraged to cultivate their physical and intellectual abilities in order to play a significant role in society. It was considered vital for them to be healthy, not only to bear children but also to contribute to the well-being of the city-state, which depended on the continuous training of its warriors. This intense focus on physical strength and education was not a personal choice but rather a social obligation. It was a part of the Spartan way of life that permeated every aspect of society, from the boys' military training in the agog to the role that women played in managing the household and the city-state. While the men of Sparta were prepared to be warriors, women were equally trained, though not to fight in battle, but to ensure the strength of the state by raising healthy children and managing the home. The training that Spartan women underwent was focused on building resilience, strength, and self-sufficiency. From an early age, girls were encouraged to participate in physical activities such as running, wrestling, and weightlifting, which were considered essential to their development. They were taught to endure physical hardship and were expected to be physically fit, as their role was to produce and raise strong children who would grow up to be warriors themselves. This approach to education and physical training was not only about creating strong mothers, but also about cultivating women who could contribute to the strength and stability of Sparta. Strong women were seen as essential to the success of the Spartan military system. In a society where the survival of the city-state depended on the constant supply of capable soldiers, it was understood that healthy, strong women would produce strong sons who could grow up to serve as warriors. The importance of Spartan women was reflected in the way they were involved in various aspects of Spartan life. Spartan women were not confined to the private domestic sphere like their counterparts in Athens or other parts of Greece. Instead, they were active participants in public life and had a level of freedom and autonomy that was remarkable for the time. They were responsible for managing the household while the men were away at war or in training, which included managing land, wealth, and family affairs. In Sparta, women had legal rights that most women in the ancient world did not possess. They could own property, inherit land, and manage their estates independently. This autonomy gave Spartan women a significant role in the economy of the city-state. During the times when men were away at war, the women were the ones who ensured the continuity of Spartan life by managing the wealth and resources of the family and ensuring that the children were well cared for and educated. Without the ability of Spartan women to manage the land and wealth of the family, Sparta's economy would not have been able to function properly. The freedom enjoyed by Spartan women was also reflected in their participation in public and religious events. Unlike the women of other Greek city-states, who were often restricted to the home, Spartan women were active participants in festivals, especially those dedicated to Artemis, the goddess of hunting and the protector of women in childbirth. These festivals were particularly important for Spartan women, and they participated in athletic competitions, which highlighted the importance of physical strength and endurance in Spartan society. Women's involvement in these events demonstrated that they held an equal status to men in terms of their physical prowess and public involvement. Spartan women's freedom was also visible in their approach to marriage. While marriage in most Greek city-states was primarily a tool for ensuring the continuation of family lines, the Spartan marriage system was based on pragmatic considerations that emphasized the production of healthy children capable of becoming warriors. In contrast to other societies where women were often married off for reasons of political alliance or wealth, Spartan women were encouraged to choose their husbands based on physical suitability. This meant that marriage was more about ensuring the birth of strong children than about romantic love or familial alliances. Spartan women were allowed, within their own restrictions, a degree of agency in choosing their partners. Marriage was also seen as a part of the broader social and military structure of Sparta. While women were married young, it was not uncommon for the couple to be separated, as women were expected to focus on their physical training and preparation while their husbands were away. Spartan women's roles as mothers were seen as integral to the military strength of Sparta, as they were responsible for raising the next generation of warriors. For the women of Sparta, motherhood and military service were inseparable. The education of their children, especially their sons, was central to their role in Spartan society. In the midst of this rigorous training and responsibility, Spartan women also enjoyed a certain degree of personal freedom. They were known for being independent, self-sufficient, and, in many cases, influential within their own households and beyond. The role of women in Spartan society was far from passive. Spartan women were often seen as the backbone of the family and community, holding a significant position of authority and respect. Unlike other women in the Greek world, who were confined to the private sphere, Spartan women had a public role that allowed them to exert influence over the decisions of the household and the community. One of the most significant aspects of Spartan women's independence was their ability to engage in the management of land and property. Unlike women in other Greek city-states who had limited property rights, Spartan women were often the sole managers of the family's wealth, especially when their husbands were away. This autonomy in economic matters allowed women to have a direct impact on the strength and stability of Sparta. Without their contributions, it would have been impossible for the city-state to maintain its dominance, as the wealth of the community was largely in the hands of women. Furthermore, Spartan women were known for their courage and resilience. Their famous motto, "Come back with your shield or on it," demonstrated their uncompromising attitude toward duty and honor. Spartan women were expected to embody the same values of bravery and strength that were taught to the men. In times of war, when the men were away, women were expected to stand firm and ensure the security of the home and family. Their bravery was not limited to the battlefield, but extended to the daily management of Spartan society. Although history is often told from the perspective of Spartan warriors, the contribution of women was just as essential to the success of Sparta. Women were not passive spectators in a militaristic society, but active participants who helped to shape a prosperous and formidable city-state. They demonstrated that power is not only physical, but also mental and social. Spartan women were the guardians of a legacy that has endured throughout history, and their essential role in strengthening Sparta should never be underestimated. In a world where power was often seen as something exclusively masculine, Spartan women showed the ancient world that the true strength of a society does not lie only in its warriors, but also in its ability to cultivate and sustain its own culture and values. The history of Spartan women is proof that the true greatness of a civilization is built not only by the men who fight in battles, but also by the women who ensure the continuity, education, and discipline of that society.